CORETV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on Core Digest and CORETV News, where we bring you top current issues. And of course, we'll be looking at the extension of the emergency rule as proposed by President Goodluck Jonathan. And of course, tracing back to May 2013, when the first emergency rule was pronounced on that part of the state. In November, it was extended by 6 months. And of course, it expired last month. And the president wants an additional 6-month extension. And then the big question arises, what's there in an emergency rule? And it could be recalled that on the process of the emergency rule, a lot of things still went wrong. It was still the process. It was in the emergency rule that the Chibok girls were being abducted. During the process, a lot of bombing took place in that part of the state, and some villagers, some citizens at that particular region were killed. Nifemi, it's a big concern. If at that point where we have emergency rule, the government could not really protect its citizens. Now, would there be any difference in this other 6 months they are demanding for?
No, not quite a number of people will agree with you that government has not been able to protect its people, because Mr. President said via Dr. Ruben Abati at the floor of the National Assembly that much has been done in the right direction. You recall that at least there are still democratically elected governors in this northeastern states, and as we speak to, life is still ongoing. It's not as it's supposed to be, but if you're going to compare it with what is expected from the side of terrorists or the terrorist group, you agree that federal government is doing something. We're joined this morning by Bala Zakka. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for finding time to join us. And Olabode Osenie is a UK-based media consultant and analyst. Now let's kickstart from assessing how life has been. Today marks it exactly 1 year after the emergency rule kick-started in northeastern Nigeria. Many are of the opinion that partial emergency rule that runs concurrently with a democratically elected governors is responsible for the continued insurgency in northeastern Nigeria. How would you assess emergency rule in the past 1 year?
First of all, you see, when a country is about to be thrown into a state of lawlessness, I mean, the only person the citizens look up to is the leader, or they look at that group called the leadership group. When you are a leader, the essence is for you to guide people to achieve certain national objectives. Fortunately or unfortunately, in a democratic setting, you need to be a bit careful. If you are a leader of a central government and that the states that you need to come down on are not probably part of the central government politically or in terms of party. That's my thinking. I may be wrong, but my belief was that when the initial state of emergency was introduced, it was probably done pseudo, you call it pseudo state of emergency, because if you look at those states were probably not states that were part of the party of the central government. But regardless of what people...
Not until recently. Yeah. The 3 states in northeastern Nigeria prior to this time were under the PDP. Not until recently that the government...
Yeah, but what we're saying, when the real insurgency came hitting, they were not really part. And the president wanted to be a bit careful. But regardless of the dynamics of interplay, insurgents, when you talk about terrorists are not disgruntled elements. Terrorists are disloyal people. Disgruntled elements have something to settle with you.